Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Anklebiter, and I came today to show you guys how to banish your entire opponent's hand with Mitsurugi. And it's thanks to these two cards, Mitsurugi Tempest and Banquet of Millions. Mitsurugi Tempest, a lot of people have never seen this card. It says, if you have a Mitsurugi ritual spell in your graveyard, tribute 3 monsters whose original name are Murakumo, Mitama, and Habakuri. That's the 3 big ritual monsters. And you make your opponents banish exactly 8 cards from their hand, extra deck, field, and or graveyard. Most of the time, most people kind of look over this card, because if you activate this just regularly, they're just going to pick 8 cards from their extra deck or graveyard that they don't really need, and it's not going to do anything. However, when you combine that with Banquet of Millions, I've actually got a better picture of it, because for some reason Dueling Nexus isn't loading its image. It says, banish any number of cards from your extra deck face down. Banish the same number of cards random from your opponent's extra deck face up until the end phase. So you don't get your extra deck back, and they get theirs back at the end of the turn. But when you combine this with Mitsurugi Tempest, what you can do is banish 13 cards off of Banquet of Millions. They have 2 cards in their extra deck. They draw for turn, putting them at 6 cards in hand. It's their draw phase. You activate Mitsurugi Tempest, and now they've got to choose 8 cards from the 6 cards in their hand and 2 cards in their extra deck to banish. Not to mention, you also get the tribute effects off of all your guys. So if these resolve, your opponent loses the game. Unless they're playing Malice or some other archetype that might get effects when they're banished, they lose the game. They've got no hand, you've added a bunch of cards to hand, and you've got around 6,500 damage on board. And you could just add a card to hand that gives you the extra 1,500. So when they pass back to you, you just kill them. I'll show you a couple replays so that we can, we just have a visual aid. And we'll slow this down just a tad bit. So, we opened Banquet of Millions, and now we're just going to do the regular Mitts combo. If they have a hand trap or some way to stop you from going through your combo, it does suck, but Banquet of Millions against a lot of decks can act as a turn skip, and then you just go back to playing the game as normal without your extra deck. And Mitts doesn't really need an extra deck. I mean, if you're going to use it to try and just turn skip them, you probably banish like everything except your maybe like 10 cards. You keep your IP and something to get off the IP, and your fusions for Fallen and the Virtuous. So see, here we just... you can't win against that. They had no chance to play. It's pretty much an FTK. Yeah, it's pretty sick. And we've also got, I think we've got one more replay for you. I've done this a number of times online, but these are just some I happen to play. I happen to save, I mean. And it's a little malleable too, so let's say your opponent draws up to 8 cards, then you could just banish the whole extra deck. You don't have to do exactly we don't have to do exactly the 13 combo like I was talking about. See here with the Mulch Army, he's going to draw, I believe, 1 card off of it, so then we change it up and we banish 14 from his extra deck instead. Oh, we banished the whole 15 because he has 1 card engraved. So then that's 8 cards he's got to banish, and it's gone. And all your stuff resolves, and it feels really good, but it feels really bad if you're them. So yeah, that's pretty much the deck in action. I will say, so it's not the best, because having it's a you open a hand, it's not a playable hand, and you've just got a Banquet of Millions sitting there. It's not really doing anything for you, except maybe giving you an extra turn to draw another card. A lot of decks won't be able to OTK you without their extra deck, so just like shotgunning the Banquet of Millions, banishing your extra deck, hoping to get an extra turn. That's a utility, but it's not the best. And if it's a Banquet of Millions in your opening hand and not a hand trap or not a crossout or whatever, it's not doing anything for you. It only works if your play is allowed to go fully through and you open the Banquet of Millions. And there are ways to search Banquet of Millions, one being Thrust. And that's kind of dependent on your opponent activating a monster effect, so I wouldn't rely on that too heavily. There's also Lilith, Lady of Lament. She's a normal summon. Tribute her, reveal 3 normal traps from your deck. Your opponent chooses, so you're just going to reveal 3 Banquet of Million. Your opponent's going to choose 1 to set to your field. Which I think that one's probably the best search for this. The only problem is in MITS, you sometimes do need to normal summon. Like sometimes to get into your play, you have to summon Manju, Aramasa, or this guy can sometimes get you into your plays. But otherwise, Lilith, if that's the only line into your combo, Lilith's not going to do anything for you. And Trap Trick sadly doesn't work because Trap Trick says you can only activate 1 trap for the rest of the turn after this card resolves, and just the way the chains work, you can't make it work. So even if you had Trap Trick plus Tempest, you can't chainlink 1 Tempest, chainlink 2 Trap Trick, because then the Tempest will resolve and it's not going to do anything. And if you Trap Trick, set the Banquet of Millions, well, now you can only activate 1 trap, so Trap Trick doesn't work in this instance. Yeah, I would like to see what other people can come up with this. I haven't seen any. I haven't seen any other deck lists online using this. Most people don't even know what Mitsurugi Tempest does. So as far as I know, I've invented this. I'm sure there's other people that have done this before, or like seen the potential of these 2 cards together, but I just haven't been able to find it online. So yeah, if you guys have any suggestions or you're trying to make this like broken, tips, whatever, leave it down in the comments below. Like and subscribe because I told you to, and I love you. Good night.